Hey, gang, welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network. Tom Masway alongside Pilar and Easy. Dave Birkett joining us live right before training camp in Allen Park. Tomorrow it all gets rolling for sure. Rookies already reported, Dave, as you know, just a couple of days ago, and Dave's nice enough to join us today. We appreciate you, Dave. What's happening, man?
Yeah, you got it. How you guys doing? How's the summer been?
Doing great, man. Summer's been great. We're looking forward to some football, though. Only 11 days to the first exhibition game, the NFL Hall of Fame Classic, Steelers and the Cowboys. Are
you ready to get back to work? That's a big question.
Are
you ready? Vacation's over.
I know. I get like a month off in the summer here, end of June, beginning of July, and going back is never easy. This is my first official day back, so slipped my mind. I was joining you guys earlier until
Thanks,
Maz
buddy.
gave me a gentle nudge.
You're like a teacher, man. You got a month off. I like that. Well, welcome in. Welcome onto the show, man. And since you wrote your article, and we're going to go over. We've been going over a few of them before you came on, but Aaron Rodgers, it looks like he is going to be a Green Bay Packer this year.
Probably this is the last year, too. I mean, look, I don't know anything that's going on in Green Bay firsthand, but, I mean, it's no secret that Aaron Rodgers obviously is there's a bone of contention there with him and management, and he wants out. And the Packers drafted a young quarterback, so they appear ready to start the clock anew. And maybe Rodgers and the Packers make one last run at a title here, but guys, I look at what this means for the NFC North and what this might mean for the Lions down the road, all the teams really. I know I've said this before. Whatever team nails the quarterback going forward, whether that's Jordan Love and the Packers, whether that's the Lions and whoever they draft, maybe Jared Goff, but probably whoever they draft in the coming years, that's going to be the team to beat for the next decade in the division.
Oh, absolutely. In your article, you said something that I felt like spot on when you were talking about Aaron Rodgers. You said he'd be playing under a management that he neither trusts nor respects.
Yeah.
That's very, very, I feel like spot on, but very difficult to play under. Do you think that he's going to go in there and just kind of be like, listen, it's my rules or I'm just not going to play? Do you think he's going to go in there with a different chip on his shoulder this year?
No, I think that's a good point, but I think there's a little bit of a distinction there in that, at least my understanding is that it's not the coaches that he has an issue with, right? And it's not his teammates. It's really the general manager and maybe some of the other people in the front office. And so I think there's a little bit of a distinction there when it comes to, game days and who you're playing for and who's giving you orders. And, maybe he's not taking any direct orders from Brian Gutekunst, the GM. It's coming from Matt LaFleur, the head coach, and he's directing his teammates who, by all accounts, he seems to still have faith. Really, Davante Adams it seems like Davante Adams, his best player, is right there with him. So right. I think this is something that I wouldn't expect it to impact the Packers on the field. But I will say to your point, look, if things start slipping early and the Packers don't look like they're the team we all thought they'd be, maybe it does unravel and get away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Easy.
Dave, I wanted to commend you on your pronunciation of Gutekunst, by the way. It's impressive.
Right. Practice.
But also, a lot of new faces for you to write stories about this year. Outside of Jared Goff, who are you expecting to make most headlines?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, too. I was putting together a depth chart earlier, and there's going to be 5 new starters on offense, probably more than that on defense. I mean, and that doesn't even speak about the depth players on this roster. So you're right. There's a lot of new faces, and that's not even talking about Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. I mean, Look, early on it's going to be Penei Sewell. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in, the first-round pick and what he looks like. We haven't seen him in pads before, and really that offensive line. And, to me, I don't think the Lions' record this year is as important as making sure some of these pieces that we think are the right pieces, that they actually are that. And that really includes Sewell and the offensive line being what we all think they can be. So I think Penei Sewell will get a lot of attention here early on in training camp and when the pads come on and when that first game happens, because so many people are excited to see if he really is a foundational piece of the future. Jeff Okudah's the other guy that a lot of attention to is going to be paid early.
Heck yeah. Dave Birkett joins us fresh off vacation right here on Woodward Sports. And, of course, from the Free Press, writes for the Lions, does a great job. There's a couple names I want to throw out. Yeah, I don't think the Lions are done making this team yet. I don't think you would think that as well. Golden Tate puts out this promo video the other day of his highlights. They're all Lion highlights. And I'll throw Deshaun Watson's name out there because he is going to be dealt to somebody, we think, anyone that could put up with 23 charges against him, 22, excuse me. But Lions were named as one of the teams. Of course, we don't think they're going to do it, but what do you think about those two names?
Yeah, all right, let's start with Watson because, that really is, he's the biggest name right now outside of Aaron Rodgers in the NFL and sort of what happens to him. And the Lions need a quarterback. And, he's a young guy that's a really good player. Look, I'm with you. Yeah, if I'm running a team, and I think the Lions would have to take this approach, right? While these accusations are still pending, I don't think you can touch him. And you certainly can't give up 3 first-round picks and 2 players, the package that Houston appears to be looking for. That's just, there's so much uncertainty that to give up that much is really too big of a risk, I think, for the Lions or any team to take. Now, look, this is a team, and I know some people made this point on Twitter, right, that they went through the Matt Patricia situation, and why would they go through this again? Well, they also drafted Quintez Cephas last year, who, after they did their diligence on him, and some of the accusations he faced in college, decided to believe him. So they would do it. But I'm saying from the Lions' perspective, when you have this extra draft capital and you need a quarterback of the future to build around, it's at least worth kicking the tires, considering going down the road of doing your due process to find out whether he's a fit or not. I don't think it happens for the Lions. I don't know that he would waive his no trade to go to the Lions, but I wouldn't fault the organization for kicking the tires at the very least.
And Golden Tate?
And Golden Tate, I saw the video that you referenced, Maz, and someone had mentioned it to me, like, hey, sent me a little message on Twitter saying, hey, you better check this out. Is Golden come back to Detroit? I don't know. I don't have any insight on that. I should try calling Golden actually.
You should.
But, look, they have 89 spots on their 90-man roster right now, so they still have 1 spot left. I know we've all sort of thought Todd Gurley, but hey, Golden Tate putting that out, maybe there's a reason. He's unemployed too, and the Lions do need some help at receiver. I don't know that it's a fit though, because I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is probably this team's starting slot receiver. That may be where Golden's best at right now at this stage of his career. So Lions could use help there, but I don't know if he'll be in that spot to sign him.
Keep it in the receivers, Dave. Easy brought up Tyrell Williams' name and Quintez Cephas, you said. And Hawkinson's going to get double-teamed probably right off the get-go. I mean, who do you think could stand out from these guys?
Yeah, well, Hawkinson is obviously the easy answer. I've said this before, if you're in, playing fantasy football, he's a guy that you want to own shares in because he's going to be the Lions. He's going to lead them in targets and receptions and yards and touchdowns and everything. He's going to be a huge part of this offense. Tyrell Williams is the number 1 receiver on this team. I don't think there should be any doubt about that heading into training camp. Watching him in the spring, he was a clear head above Rashad Perryman in my eyes. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is I think he might end up having a more productive season than Perryman, but he's a rookie, so he's a guy that you really have to take things slow with, or you can't expect too much from right off the bat. But as things stand now, Williams, St. Brown, Perryman seem to be the top 3 receivers.
Yep.
On this team.
Dave, let's go back to a name that you mentioned just a second ago with Todd Gurley. There was some talks that he was going to come here, and then everything just kind of quieted down with him. He's not really going anywhere. Do you think that this might be something that the Lions might make a late off-season move for, or you think that was just something that they realized we've got quite enough depth in the running back situation?
No, I think the Lions would still be interested, or I know, as of a couple weeks ago, they were still interested. I don't know where things stand from Gurley's camp. You see across the league here, right? D.D. Westbrook the other day. There are veterans that wait until just before training camp to sign, and it makes sense for Todd Gurley to be one of those guys. He doesn't need the spring. He's a guy that you're not going to give too much work to from a team standpoint at this time of year anyway, because you want to save his knees. So, I don't think there's a huge rush to get him into camp, whatever team it is. So I don't think the door is completely closed there. The Lions, again, they still have that roster spot, and I guess they still could use a sort of a veteran insurance option if that's what they're looking for at the running back position. So If nothing happens tomorrow, then maybe this thing isn't going to happen. But there's still 24 hours here before the Lions kick off training camp.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson's there too.
Yeah, that ship might have sailed. But look, it's sort of similar boats, right? I mean, those are the type of players that they don't need to sign yet, and they often don't at whatever position because they're vets and they don't need to go through camp and the spring, mini camp, that portion of it, and you can still expect them to be whatever they're going to be once they get on the field.
Dave Birkett joins us. The Free Press, of course, covers the Lions like nobody. Go ahead, Easy.
Keeping it in the running back room, I just wanted to ask, a couple months back, a story broke that Jamaal Williams may be the lead back over DeAndre Swift. Was there any validity to that, any conversations that you had?
I mean, look, Jamaal Williams is going to play, and he's going to play a lot, but DeAndre Swift is this team's number one running back. I think the Lions have I know the comments that you're referring to, and Anthony Lynn saying there's two different types of backs. I think it was Lynn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The type A and the type B,
right.
however he referred to them. Look, DeAndre Swift is, he's the guy that has the juice at that position. I mean, he can catch passes, he can be a game breaker, he can do a lot of different things. But Jamaal Williams the Lions signed 12 or 14 free agents this offseason. Jamaal Williams is the only guy they gave a multi-year deal to. So the Lions, they thought enough of him to bring him in to be, one of these guys that really helps the offense along and plays a big role for them. He's going to be their third down back. I would expect to see a lot of him on the field. But if I was stacking those guys, Swift is the guy that's going to get 20 touches and be your number one running back, and I think Williams is going to get 12 touches a game and be your number two guy.
Hey, Dave, do you think we're going to be writing Cam Akers, of course, not playing for the Rams? Are we going to write Matthew Stafford didn't have a running back again in L.A.?
Well, I'm not, because I wrote this in the those top 10 storylines. I mean, I think it's probably a lot of people out there, right? I'm a little sick of the whole
fatigued.
Stafford Rams. This story. I mean,
Me too.
But it's important. I understand that. It's a big part of the fabric of the season. Look, the Rams should still be a good team, right? Stafford's operated without a running game for the entirety of his career, and I know that offense in LA, a lot of it hinges on play action and sort of what the running game can do. But I didn't think the Rams were necessarily a Super Bowl team before the injury, and the Akers injury, as good of a player as he can be, doesn't change my outlook on their season.
Stafford's fourth choice, man. Stafford's fourth choice for MVP if you're trying to bet.
Wow.
It's hype, man. You know how it is.
Serious?
Vegas, right? That's
I know.
Crazy.
That's nuts.
He's a hot name, and I mean, again, look, I think Stafford is a better quarterback than Goff, just to be frank and put that out there. So I think the Rams have improved at that position, but I'm still not sure that the San Francisco 49ers aren't going to win that division. I mean, if
that's a hell of a division. That's the best division in football, bar none. That is an unbelievable division. All four teams probably could win the other divisions. That's the way I look at it. Last thing for you, Dave, is the COVID vaccine. It's like 50% right now, the NFL. I don't even know the odds anymore. How many people have it? How many don't? There are coaches quitting because they have to have the vaccine to be able to coach. Players that are getting sick even though they have the vaccine. What's your take on this going forward? How is this gonna handle the season?
Yeah. First, those teams in the NFC West, I agree, they could all win other divisions, or maybe that's the strongest division, unless Aaron Rodgers gets traded to Denver. Just putting that out there.
Traded.
Put a bow on it. I agree. Just to put a bow on it. But look, the vaccine. I mean, you know what? The NFL, with the NFLPA's power, and I think we talked about this a couple months ago. Just maybe how they're not looking out for everyone that doesn't want to get the vaccine, their interests, but they are doing everything they can, both of those entities, to encourage everyone to get the vaccine, putting some of these hindrances in place, these penalties in place for players and teams and coaches that don't get the vaccine. So just from a public health standpoint, I think they could be applauded for that. I think we're still going to see it impact some games, not moving games, but you will see players at some point test positive, and when it's players who are unvaccinated, they're going to have to sit out 2 weeks. So,
wow.
The incentive is there for them to get vaccinated and not impact their team. And I'll be anxious to talk to some Lions players this week, Taylor Decker included, just to find out whether their stance has changed, whether what the NFL and the NFLPA have agreed to has caused them to reevaluate their position and want to get the vaccine.
Man,
we just saw DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
He tweeted, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. It's just become such a cultural war, I feel like. And the more I feel like that people are trying to make people take the vaccine, it's making them not want to take the vaccine. And it's more of, hey, you can't take away that choice from me, and it's my body, my right, which it is. But I feel like now it's just become such a cultural war that it's more of, you can't tell me what to do.
No, it's become so politicized over the last, 12, 15 months and there's no going back, unfortunately, on it. But you're right. It was, and I get it. I get it right. It's not, I understand why some people may be hesitant. This thing was, only came to the market here, 6 months ago, whatever it's been, 9 months ago. But so many other vaccines are not that way, right? They're not political. So this one shouldn't be either at the end of the day.
Get ready, man. 17-game season for the first time, man. You ready?
I guess I got no choice but to be ready.
Hey, only 3 preseason games.
The other day. I'm gonna take a few days off during the bye week, but other than that, I don't know when I'm getting away until February rolls around.
Hey, look, let's face it. Eventually, it's going to be 18 games, and it's going to be 2 bye weeks. That's just the way it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
All right, Dave, we appreciate you, man.
Mid-February, and that'll be it. But no, you got it, guys. Always happy to talk and enjoy training camp this summer.
Hey, get back to vacation. You got another 12 hours to go.
Right.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Dave.
it. Enjoy it.
See you, buddy.
Dave Birkett, Detroit
awesome.
Free Press for the Lions beat writer. Great article, guys. Make sure that you are following him on his social media. It's at Dave Birkett. Great stuff.
Start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling. To learn more today, go to northwestern.tech.edu.